Now, when you were there after a couple weeks, maybe a month or so, what was your impression of the politics, the office politics in WCW?
I thought they were upgraded a little bit from the time before.
Mm-hmm.
They got a little silly with that computer thing about putting your fingerprint in.
What did they have you do with the fingerprint?
Well, you put your ring finger on, and it sent a message directly to the office at what time you checked in. I thought, here it is, we're trying to save money, and they're doing things like this, But I didn't mind because I'm usually the first one there anyway. I'm gonna put my finger down and put my bags down. If I want to go somewhere, I'm gonna go somewhere.
Right. And Hogan, Hogan was a big player there, all the way up until the very end. Had Hogan changed at all, personally, professionally, since the years earlier where you worked with him?
You know what? I can't really say. No, he hadn't changed because he was always really good to me. And our matches were always real easy. It wasn't, wasn't pulling teeth. He wouldn't, so no, he didn't change towards me.
Yeah. Have you ever watched Hogan Knows Best?
I've seen a little bit of it.
What do you think?
My opinion, I think, is bad for him.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, and I'll give you a good example. One of the things that exposes him is as an old man. He walks around old, looks old, talks old,
right.
Talks all about his bad points. Then, they were in Memphis just a month ago.
Yep.
And here it is. They were on every radio station, every live television station, everything. He was talking about how now he's got a new viewing audience from VH1, Hogan Knows Best, and they barely did 2,000 people in a 25,000 seat arena.
Yeah, it's been the talk of business for a couple of weeks. Yeah.
It was really horrible, but they picked. I think what they should have done is stuck what they were supposed to have done. And that was work the angle, which is not really an angle, but it was supposed to have been the last wrestling show at the Mid-South Coliseum.
Mm-hmm.
And they would have pulled in some of the people at the place they went to. It cost $10 to park.
Wow.
And then it was so much to get in, and it wasn't well done. They did no promotional stuff till the day or a few days before the show.
Did they contact you at all to do anything on the show?
They asked me about it. I told them I wasn't interested unless I was main event.
Yeah.
And then at the Coliseum, and then then they moved it to the Forum, FedEx Forum, and of course Vince said anybody who works for that show will never work for me, and that's where I'm trying to get to.
Yeah.
So I wasn't interested.
Now, back to WCW, were you surprised that some people think they gave away a lot of money by putting so many of those matches you had with Hogan on free TV rather than saving it for pay-per-view?
In WCW?
Yes.
You know what? This is I don't really believe that because we never had a singles match, or if we did, it was always...
You did on Nitro a couple times.
Yeah. The thing about that is, I don't believe that, first of all, I wasn't in the angle with him when I was doing those matches. I was shooting for the big deal with Goldberg.
Right.
But now when me and Hogan shot our first angle, it was down in Miami when I turned on him, and we were scheduled to come back in the pay-per-view at Daytona. Was the first time they ever had like a $300,000 advance.
Wow. Now,
they pulled me out of that, put Jeff Jarrett in there. Now, that goes to show that it didn't hurt. We would have sold that place out.
Right.
And really very little issue.
Yeah.
And that's something, too. There's several people in this business that I'm almost automatically going to draw money with, and he's one of them, or used to be.
Yeah, you guys had some real good chemistry together.
Yeah. And it's because we both were able to give. He was always doing for me. His style is real easy. It's like doing a Three Stooges gig. That's what he calls it. He does his face.
Yeah.
That's his comeback, and it's real simple. And the people buy it.
Yeah. Now, I don't know, because I know you talked about it before, that you had a match scheduled with Hogan on the pay-per-view and that was changed to Jarrett. Was that the match that they had their deal where he... Do you think that was just a big let's work the boys thing, or do you think that was legit?
I think it was legit. I know Russo hated Hogan for whatever reason. There was just, it's got to be frustrating for anyone who's coming into a place and trying to do good and make big change when your top player doesn't do anything but what he wants to do. You can't make change in a territory if your top players aren't playing with you. So I know that had to be frustrating for him. And then I don't think Hogan trusted anybody. He had that, what it was called
creative control.
Creative control. I don't think that should be given to anyone. I just don't. No, I don't want that. Even if it was offered to me, I don't want to. I don't want that responsibility to say, okay, well, we didn't succeed because you didn't do what we asked.
Yeah.
That's not. I don't want that blame.
Now, when you came into WCW, you were paired with Randy Savage.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on being paired with Randy for a while?
It was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I've always really enjoyed being by myself. I had a great time, of course, in my early years working with Danny Spivey and tagging up with the Horsemen and stuff like that and things like that. But working with Randy was probably a little more fun than the rest of them. He was it's funny too. I know you've heard the stories about interviews. When
Sure.
you're doing an interview with Randy, he's always got to try to end the interview. I don't care how many seconds it lasts. And we're done. And yeah, so this is like. Who was really fun to watch do that with him was Scott Hall. Scott would never stop. He'd go, oh yeah, and do back, and it was a never ending deal. They'd have to redo the interview because 2 minutes over, But other than that, I mean, we had a lot of fun. He was, was talking the story to Dallas Page earlier. I worked with Randy at some house shows. Most of the time I worked with Randy, he was substituting for someone who didn't show up.
Okay.
And usually, especially in WWE, baby faces go over every night. And if there's a replacement, the baby face for sure goes over.
Right.
Randy comes over and says, I said, what you going to do now? He goes, I'm taking the power bomb. Because they were building me for Hogan for WrestleMania at that point.
Okay.
So Randy's a businessman.
Yeah.
He got a little weird, things. We're all weird in our own ways, I'm called weird because I don't party, go to bed early, I get up early, I work out twice a day on the road. It's unheard of. So, we all have our little...
Gotcha. Intricacies.
Intricacies or little weird points.
When you came in, they were calling you the Millennium Man. And at the same time, in the WWE, Chris Jericho was calling himself the Millennium Man. And he even did an interview where he wasn't pointing a finger at you, but just WCW by saying they're ripping me off. Were you aware of that whole deal?
I didn't even know what J2K or whatever that was about.
Y2J.
Y2J.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. After they started the Millennium thing, I picked up on it. They didn't tell me, so I picked up on it. But I know they were just trying to get back at Jericho for leaving.
Yeah.
And so that's part of it.
Yeah.
But I really wasn't aware of it until after I had done it a few times. I didn't even put it two and two. Because, he didn't come out with Y2J until way after I started talking about Millennium. Because it was a build-up for him.
Right.
So I was already doing it while he was still there.
That's right.
He was just finished his days out.
Gotcha. I'm curious for your thoughts on this. Dan Severn, when he was in WWE, he did an interview with us, and he said that he thought on his way out, Royal Rumble was one of his last shows, and he said he thought to himself, what would they do if I just started shooting in there and just started throwing everybody over the top and taking over? What do you think about something like that?
I think it's silly.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't think, I don't know Dan that well. I just met him once or twice. He's not going to pick me up and throw me out of the ring. I've wrestled with a lot better wrestlers than him.
Yeah.
I'm talking, Olympic wrestling.
Sure.
So I could hold my own a little bit. That wouldn't have been a good idea, especially if you had some people in there that knew what they were doing as well.
Yeah.
And they would have picked up on it. The remaining people in that ring would have really gave it to him. But I think when you're a person like that, and your whole life is really circled around real, I think that has to come across your mind. Like you said, he said he would want to do it on his way out.
Yeah.
But what happens in that, when we're silly enough or stupid enough to broadcast that, you're never going to be in a position to do that.
Yeah.
They're going to set you up with someone like they did Bart Gunn. Bart really wasn't scheduled to win that Brawl for Raw, whatever Brawl for Brawl for Brawl.
Brawl for All.
Yeah.
We just did an interview with Bart a month ago, and we talked a lot about it. And he said that the winner was supposed to get a match with Steve Austin and so on and so forth. And he said he went to the bookers and said, hey, let me just, work this thing. And they were like, no, go out there. And then when he won, it kind of shocked them. And he said he was willing to do whatever they wanted.
Well, that's funny you said that because I heard just the opposite. I heard they sort of asked him not to beat Steve Williams. That Steve Williams, well, we all know, was the guy that they were scheduling or working up to go against Steve Austin. Yeah. And
that he said he would put Steve Williams over,
right.
and let Steve Williams do his deal with Steve Austin.
Well, if Bart says that, that's got to be the truth because Bart is one of the most honest guys you're going to hear or talk to. Now I heard it was just the opposite. That he didn't want. He said, "Hey, look, I'm going for the money. Whoever wins this thing gets $50,000 or whatever." That's what he was going for. Because he told me, or Billy told me about it. Said Jim Ross came to him supposedly, but if Bart says that he offered to do it, that's probably what happened.
He said, "Well, you'll get a kick out of this since you brought this up." He said that he showed up at television, and all the guys were coming up to him and said, "Hey, I heard you said you're going to go out there and knock Steve Williams out. I heard you're going to knock Steve Williams out." And he said he never said it, and Bruce Pritchard was just stirring up the pot.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
That's probably true.
Because he said he was really surprised when all these people were coming up there and saying that to him, and he went to Bruce Pritchard and said, "I never said that."
Well, and I don't know if this is true. This is what I heard. This is what great guy Bart is. When he had to fight Bob Holly, who's a good friend of them, they came to agreement that,
He did.
He said, "Hey, well, I'm not going to wrestle you. We'll just box."
That's
what Bob wanted to do. And he could have knocked Bob out.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, we talked about that as well. Were you were there when were you there when they were doing the Brawl for All?
No.
Oh, you weren't there. What did you think just when you heard about it that they were going to have all these shoot matches out there?
Well, there was two things I thought about. One would be this: are they going to believe it? Because we at this point in time, wrestling, our fans, we tell them it's a work, but they don't want to hear it.
Right.
They want to think it's real. But on the other side, if we tell them it's real, then they're going to tell us it's fake.
Right.
So I just didn't think that was something they needed to do to, one, jeopardize a lot of people who got really hurt on those things. Like Papa Shango got hurt.
Steve Williams.
Steve Williams was finished.
Yeah.
Steve Williams, in my opinion, at one time, I thought he could be a big money drawer, especially as a heel. So I think that was silly. I don't think it was good for the business. They didn't achieve what they were going for, and then Bart got knocked out by Butterbean. So it hurt the business. Now they brought someone real and beat up their toughest guy in their territory.
Yeah.
So that couldn't have been good.
Yeah.